If you were building a wall with natural footage, sound bites and voiceover, then natural footage and sound bites would be the bricks and voiceover would be the cement that binds it all together. Basically, voiceover is your chance to be a tour guide. Be yourself. Tell your story your way. Write the way you'd say it. Be witty, be funny, but talk plainly and clearly. Your audience has enough to concentrate on without having to worry about what you're saying. And don't use 10 words when one will do. So the voiceover allows you to tell your story. It also introduces the impending soundbite or bites or key natural footage or whatever comes next without stealing their message or their words. Finally, it matches the accompanying natural footage. So, more specifically, the first piece of voiceover needs to say where we are, whom this is about, and possibly introduce the conflict. Josh got it spot on.
The ant sings while he's passionate about his drumming, but as part of Bluecoat's Enrichment Day, his challenge is simply to encourage his class.
The next bit of voiceover needs to mention the conflict if the first piece didn't. Her latest project is a one-off performance. It's taken over a year to plan, it starts in under 4 hours, and there's a shortage of long cables. Subsequent pieces of voiceover need to allow you to tell your story in your own way.
Beant has been learning how to play the drums for most of his life. The key is to be able to put the rhythm into words.
Together, you got da, din.
And the final piece of voiceover could allow you to wrap the story up if the sound bites don't. Caroline's next project is to see what sound looks like when it's transmitted to the other side of the world. Now that will need some very long cables. Now, as well as telling the story, each succinct piece of voiceover needs to introduce whatever follows, be this natural footage, key natural footage, soundbite or vox pop.
Beant's passion is plain to see, and after a couple of hours his unique ambitions are sending off a fantastic vibe to the rest of the class.
Come on, join me!
Finally, what is being heard needs to match what is being seen. It doesn't matter which one came first, they're both together now like a railway track. One rail is like our voiceover and the other rail represents what we're seeing when the voiceover is going on, the natural footage. Both rails are heading to their mutual destination, and by this I mean telling the story, but they're also connected to each other at every stage. If they become disconnected, the audience becomes confused, as a train might if the tracks decided to veer off in different directions. So what you're hearing, the voiceover, always deliberately matches what you're seeing, the natural footage. That was certainly the intention when explaining what was going on with the water music. Hydrophonics, as it's called, relies on a handful of talented musicians and some tanks of water with loudspeakers underneath. So it may be that you know what you want to say and so you bring in natural footage to complement this. Every line you write, though, you must be thinking whether you have the shots to cover it, and if not, then rewrite the line. But sometimes the muse is just not with you. When this happens, drop some pictures in some kind of logical order and try narrating to them. A superlative case of this, using only one picture and the fewest of words, occurs in Jason's story.
But with 4 minutes to go in last week's game, Coach Johnson stood up and pointed to number 52, Jason McElwain.
So writing a voiceover is a bit like doing a Sudoku puzzle. But when you get it right, you've reached the top of the hill, and from here on in, it's downhill all the way.